Hey y'all, I'm Shauna. Welcome in or welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Today we are back at it again looking at restocks. Restock and reorganization content is super popular on TikTok. It has been for years, long before I've been making content on it. It remains popular and a niche of TikTok that people like. And this is a niche that is full of overconsumption. If you've never seen one of these videos from me before, I'm here to do some de-influencing on some of the specific products mentioned, and I also speak about how and why these videos can influence. I'm here to bring more of a critical lens to overconsumption, and one of the themes of this video is going to be consumption as entertainment. I aim to bring a more critical lens to these videos, as well as the rampant consumerism that is present within this specific niche, but a lot of TikTok niches. We're going to start off with a poolside Stanley restock. Just a forewarning, the first two videos are Stanley videos because that Stanley content, it don't quit, apparently. You do not need an American flag bedazzled Stanley. This is the kind of Stanley I feel like you get when you already own Stanleys. Like, I don't know, this is going to be somebody's first choice of Stanley. Maybe she bedazzled it herself. I don't really know the context of that. But you also don't need to match your Stanley to your activity. Like, if that's what we're doing, I think we have too many Stanleys. I've also never talked about, at least in my recollection, the Stanley ice molds, and the fact that there are specific ice molds for the Stanley also speaks, I think, to just, I don't know, the consumerism of it all. Because yes, are they useful? Are they better than a traditional ice cube? Perhaps because they sit around the outside of your Stanley. Maybe they don't melt as quick, but regular ice cubes will do fine. I can promise you, whatever ice cubes you have will be absolutely fine. Like, the ice molds specifically for the Stanley, they get me because it's just other accoutrements to buy for it. But then what happens when you're done with your Stanley? What happens to these ice cube molds that are also plastic? They get thrown out along with your Stanley. And then all of the accoutrements for your Stanley that you bought, including your Stanley purse and your Stanley topper and your nameplate. When people like to shop, when people express their excitement with shopping, that's when all of these accoutrements come about, and just accessorizing your water bottle. Do you get what I'm saying about that? People who like to shop or express their interest with shopping, they'll go to all of the things that have some semblance to their items. So it's not just the Stanley, it's all of the things that are adjacent to the Stanley, so they can continue to express their appreciation and excitement via shopping. The single-use kind of drink situations, the Fresca comes in cans, the Powerade, it's a mini. Like, we're buying minis probably for a video to then like decant them into the Stanley. I don't know, there's something about that that gets me. And then the ring holder. If we're actually going to the pool, why are we wearing jewelry? If you have a wedding ring or engagement ring, fine. But like, we don't actually need to wear jewelry to the pool to then take off at the pool. I think that's not a very practical thing that people do. Some people have necklaces or earrings or rings that they just leave on all the time, which is fine. But you don't need to bring your jewelry to the pool to then take off at the pool. I think this is just something where she can sell it to you, where you go, oh wow, yeah, that's cool, that's practical. And you buy it and you don't use it. All right, we have a 2-drink restock. This got so many views, I don't understand. Also, these two TikToks were made by the same person. I already knew that we had multiple Stanleys. We have proof of it, of course. Those drink inserts do not fit into the Stanley all that well. They just don't look like they fit. And then you have the two straws, and then she bought new toppers, which you don't actually need to buy. Why do you need two drinks inside of your Stanley? And also, neither of those things are water. To me, if I were going to do two drinks, it would be water and maybe coffee, water and pop, something like that. Maybe I'm being irrational here, but all of those like single use on the go containers of drinks to then decant them into something that's also like on the go, it just bugs me on a personal level. You don't need a gadget to fit inside your Stanley to bring two drinks. You don't need that. And this is so impractical because you can't actually take this anywhere. I know I was saying on the go, but now I'm realizing that you're not going to bring the Stanley on the go because you can't put your lid on the Stanley. Why would we pitch people things that they can't actually use their Stanley with? Like you can't use it properly or adequately. If you buy this, you can only drink it inside of your house or without the lid of the tumbler. This just feels like nonsense to me. Of course, this is being pitched because she has an Amazon storefront and she can sell you things. This is an ad. She calls it a Stanley hack. I don't understand how this is practical at all. She loves to restock her tumblers, and the more that we call things restocks, the more we can engage certain communities and people find that kind of content exciting or interesting. Your Stanley does not need more accoutrements. The more we start treating everyday objects as things to accessorize, the more stuff we buy from them. Our drinking vessel can have your personality involved in it, but it's still a drinking vessel, and we can lose sight of that real quickly. We're now going to watch more of like a kitchen restock. Is this water? Okay, this was a kitchen restock, and a few things to say. We're seeing some things that we've seen before, right? The butter holder as well as the holder for the mouthwash. One of the things that I started noticing in 2025 specifically is putting mouthwash, like decanting mouthwash. And I get why the restockers do it, right? Like, is it so different than decanting your iced coffee? This is aesthetics. Some of the restocking we'll see, and we'll have a big conversation about organizing. Some of it is about organizing, and some of it is about aesthetics, and some of it is both. Decanting your mouthwash is completely unnecessary. And some of these creators, even their butter holders, they rotate butter holders to match the season. Your butter holder does not need to rotate to match the season. Once you get one, like a lot of people who have a butter holder, it's normal to just own one. You have one butter holder, maybe it's white, maybe it's a color. But the moment you veer off of that and you buy a fall one, then you can start rationalizing or see the need for a spring one, a winter one. Your butter does not need to match the season. One is fine. And then on top of that, your mouthwash already comes in a container. We truly do not need to aestheticize every nook and cranny of our life. It's okay for people and you to know that you're using mouthwash and for it to come in the container that it was sold to you in. You also do not need to change out your mouthwash container regularly. This was also an advertisement for the overnight oats. The fact that this brand sells them in plastic bags is not necessary, but it's the shaker bottle that gets me. Have you ever had overnight oats? They're chunky. Like they are I could not imagine drinking chunks of oats like that. Maybe that's just me in a sensory thing, But this shit pisses me off so much because this is such an unnecessary product. And I was trying to think about maybe there's some kind of accommodation happening, or maybe there's a way that this could be used for like accessibility or mobility or something like that. Because I've heard from people on this channel that things like pre-cut fruit can be like a mobility or accessibility tool. Maybe tool is not the right word, but I hope you know what I mean. I'm like, okay, maybe there's something here. And if there's something I'm missing, please let me know. But this is also not being pitched as a mobility or accessibility device or strategy. And I also feel like it's not doing much, given that you still have to mix these pouches with water or in most cases milk. Making a small batch of overnight oats is actually, it's not that difficult. And it being easy or difficult aside, the literal previous day, one day apart, she posted this video. So the overnight oats video is July 9th. On July 7th, she posted an overnight oats recipe. Let me just show this to you. Not only does she show how to make overnight oats, and she does make them, she's now pitching you this product in the next reel as part of this restocking to do it naturally or to try and make it more of a natural fit. All of that single-use garbage is completely unnecessary, and like you still have to mix it with milk. And she puts it in her blender bottle, which arguably you would either have to wash that out or buy multiple in order to have those pre-made in the fridge. She gave a more complicated recipe for overnight oats. All you need is oats and a milk of choice. You can do some vanilla or some sugar in there. You don't even need any Greek yogurt or yogurt of any kind. You just need those two ingredients. Everything else is extra. I used to make them. I would do the oat, the milk. I'm an almond milk fan personally. A little bit of vanilla, I'm on board with that. Maybe a little cinnamon. I put cinnamon in my regular oats and you're good. It's single-use packaging for something that is so like this brand and pitching this has turned something that is an easy thing to do. 2 ingredients. You could do 3 or 4 or more if you want, but 2 ingredients and turn something that is easy, that you still need a container to make, and they turn it into something single use. What's in that oat packaging are the oats and maybe some flavor if there's different flavors. Like, no, ma'am, you're still taking the same action. You're still taking the oats from your bag into a vessel of some sort. It's not cut out that step, which is the annoying step if there is one. Okay, I'm gonna shut up about this. I was triggered, if you could say that. All right, let's watch a back to school fridge restock. I'm gonna drink my coffee and hang out for a second. This is nuts, man. Why is there so much single-use shit? Look, some of this stuff is great or has a use value. Some of these organizing containers are nice. The pan separators that go in the oven and then can be put in the fridge, great. I'm not saying that there's no utility value here because there's some good stuff in here. She has pitched other Stanley storages before, and these go on the side of your fridge. So you're going to need to have an exposed side of your fridge in order to use these. The breakfast sandwiches that we're putting in a single-use bag when we're at home and then putting them in the fridge is wild. They're going to get soggy, and you are not Tim Hortons. You are not Dunkin' Donuts. You don't need like a wrapper for your sandwich. First of all, if you eat at home, you don't need this. If you're going to take it on the go, there are other things that you can use that aren't single-use paper or plastic or whatever the hell this is. The butter cutter is cool, but like, do you actually need a device to cut your butter? You probably, I mean, if you are able to, you can cut butter yourself. And some of these things she has shown before, but is giving us slightly different versions of. In addition, the pencil themed holders in her lockbox. I've already talked about the lockbox in a previous video that people did not agree on. You know what? You generally probably don't need a lockbox in your fridge. I've heard people say like, oh, in group home settings, or maybe if like a parent wants to have like alcohol or something, or like if there's a nut allergy. First of all, this is not a group home setting. This is like a family parent-child setting. If there's a young child learning about allergies, maybe, but like I think that in a lot of cases, this is unnecessary. And then you don't need to put your themed brand new pencil holders into the lockbox to store your chocolate. If you want to have treats for your kids for the first day of school, they don't need to be in themed back to school paraphernalia in order to do it. She's doing it to sell you them. And then there's also these back to school drink cups that have like pencils on them, and one is in the shape of a pencil itself. She has pitched other drink vessels like this. She just gets to pitch a new one because it's back to school. I went to her Amazon page. She has over 90 items linked from this video. I just put in a fraction of the items. I'm gonna show them to you now. We're gonna do a little screen recording as we scroll through. I just put in a few of them. The mini tumbler, it's a shot size tumbler. What do you need a mini shot size tumbler with a straw for? What? I don't know. These really small 100 ml glass jars, these overnight oat containers, a single-use container for your overnight oats. That's how they're pitching it. You don't need single-use kitchen gadgets. Of course, you could store other things other than oats in here, but you could also use a glass jar from your pasta sauce or your salsa jar or something that you already have. We have the vacuum sealed silicone reusable items, the food huggers, the fruit washing bowl. You can wash your fruit without this. And experts say that you should wash your fruit only before eating. You could use a strainer, a colander. We have this baking set, those mugs with the pencils on them, the butter cutter, one of the cabinet organizers, the toaster bags, which is honestly, what is this? You know, we're going to look into this right now, having a detour. I want to know what this is made out of, because if this is plastic, you're going to be heating up plastic. What is this made out of? They're washable and reusable. No chemicals. PTFE coated fiberglass? I'm suspicious of these, man. Oh, they're Teflon coated. Teflon, no. Teflon coated, unless Teflon coated. That scares me. Okay, back to the cart. Okay, we have our tumbler organizations, the toaster, that gadget that went on one side of the fridge. It's $500. It's $500 for this fridge setup. And it's just a fraction of the things that she's shown. Some of the drink dispensers, which I think people may be the most inclined for, they were out of stock. I don't know how much they are. And when we just focus on the organization aspect of it, oh wow, her fridge is so well organized. I saw a ton of comments like that. The purpose of this video is to sell you things, right? She's doing your restock to show you how she uses it. It's also an aesthetic. So this is ultimately an advertisement, right? She's using a restock method in order to pitch you all the products in her fridge. And one of the ways that we find this interesting or intriguing or desirable is via the aestheticization. Part of the aestheticization is happening via the organization because some people find organizing very aesthetic, but there's also just, I think, other general aesthetic items if it's not just the organizing. So this isn't your friend who found these great products or somebody who's like, oh yeah, this has changed my organizing, or I really value this, or this is actually useful. This is somebody who's showing you ultimately good ideas to make money off of you. This is an advertisement. Some of this is, as I was mentioning, is fine, like some of these organizing trays or items, but then other things, you're being resold the same thing in slightly different colors or textures. So she's selling you more things. So it's not even that this is the best thing she's found or that this is the best thing in the category. This is the newest item that she can put in front of you. And that's the thing about these organizing videos or restocking videos or other content generally, is that there's always new things. There's always some new device, new kitchen gadget, new thing to want. Even when her fridge looks complete or organized, there's still a new gadget that can be shown to you or some new organizational tool. This can create a cycle where organization isn't actually about maintaining a system, but continuously upgrading that system to better and better products or newer products. This keeps the content and her storefront fresh, but keeps the audience in a continual state of wanting. On the surface, it's inspiration because of organization, but the real engine here is the product. She's selling the lifestyle or who you could be with these products, right? She's selling the idea of organization via the $500 fridge products, or even the idea that your organization or your fridge is not complete without these products. You need these specific tools to do it. The aesthetics are, in a way, the Trojan horse of consumption or for consumption. And in our minds, we can think, wow, wouldn't it be so nice to have these things? Wouldn't it be nice to be more organized, et cetera, et cetera? When viewers see these products in a perfectly curated setting, which, by the way, not even she lives. Her fridge does not look like this. It's kind of like the decorating shows that don't show homes with electricity, with the power cords or the TV on. They're showing you things in the most idealized state that is not actually reflective of how people use and work. Like, you also have to maintain these systems. You have to clean out all of the containers. So when you see these products in a perfectly curated setting, our brain jumps to, I need that. I need those products to achieve that result or to achieve that feeling. It's not always about wanting the product, but wanting the end result or wanting the identity. Being organized, as an example, or being a person who is organized, and the perception of what you think organizing will do to your life. When creators constantly pitch new products or constantly putting these kinds of products in front of us, it can train the viewer to see their current setup through deficiency, or swapping new gadgets under the guise of organizational inspiration. Does this video actually inspire you to organize your fridge, or does it inspire you to buy her fridge or all the products in her fridge? This can make shopping feel like self-improvement. I'm doing something good for myself. But when does it stop, right? It's the fridge in this case, but the planners, the skincare, the hair care, the hobby supplies. We can constantly view new things in shopping as self-improvement. And it's often feeding a cycle of overconsumption. More stuff rarely makes us happier, most especially if we're constantly chasing inspiration online. We can end up in a constant cycle of buying more, and one of the factors driving that cycle is comparison. Usefulness and practicality alone aren't enough, in my opinion, to just justify buying things willy-nilly. Because what about the long-term use of the thing? Could you see yourself using this thing for 5 years or 10 years? Do you truly need it? Is there something that you could use already? There is skill and wisdom in being able to realize when you have enough. The effects of shopping like this are cumulative because we can go to the end of the year and you turn around and you look at your bank account and you look at your home and you go, where did all my money go? Why is my home filled with stuff that I don't like? Or feeling like your closet's overwhelming, or you're spending so much time returning stuff. We ultimately just bought random things that don't actually make a difference in our lives. Some things are great, and money's well spent. Other things aren't. And do you really want to spend your money in this way? Is this the most impactful way or beneficial way for you to spend your money? Does shopping like this and buying these products support the life you want to live and the goals you want to achieve? Sometimes yes. Honestly, sometimes yes. I don't say that rhetorically. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I'll show you a couple more examples as we close out this section because I don't really feel like I need to comment more on all the specific ins and outs of some of these videos. I do want to say though that if these videos inspire you to clean up, organize your fridge, or you find them relaxing or beneficial in some way, that's wonderful. And that might mean that this content isn't harming you, which I would love for you. At the same time though, when I see these videos, just personally, I see the endless work involved in maintaining these systems and these products. I also think about how these videos can establish a new normal of what fridges or homes look like. It's unrealistic because your home is not a store. That's what some of these fridges give me, that like your home is a store. Half of your fridges are just beverages and snacks, all displayed with labels out. Like, you don't need 12 kinds of drinks in your fridge. You really don't. Lastly, it's worth mentioning that I was watching this Peeps video. Somebody, kind of doing a rage bait fridge restock with Peeps. If you're just kind of listening, it doesn't really change anything. Like, it's still the same kind of restock. And it just it really struck me that, myself included, that, people sometimes watch consumption as entertainment. Brands and buying stuff is entertainment. And there's something kind of, I don't know, dystopian in a way of I've caught myself lying in bed watching this kind of content when there's a whole beautiful life out there. I don't know, it's kind of crazy how normal watching consumption as entertainment has become. We're now going to watch one on hair clips. More clips. This video has 42 million views. It's honestly crazy to see people. This is consumption as entertainment. This is somebody buying, and in my opinion, I think rage baiting, buying dozens of clips to restock their supply. She also presumably bought this rotator stand. And influencers love to buy new storage containers for things that they don't actually have. I'm going to buy a storage container and then I'm going to fill that storage container immediately and fill it to the brim with all of these hair clips. You don't need 20 hair clips. You probably don't need 10 hair clips. If you already have them, great, use them, but you don't need this many hair clips. Variety doesn't need to mean 5 to 6 different styles and then all of the colors in the style. We don't need that. Let this be a reminder that you probably don't need more hair clips. And hair clips are not something that almost ever need to be restocked. We don't actually need to buy hair clips in quantities so great that they require restocking. Let's move on. We're going to end on some school stuff. We're going to watch a school pouch, self-care pouch, the person calls them, restock. I am not anti school pouch. I myself have a pouch that I keep in my backpack. Still to this day, I have a version of this. I don't need that much stuff because I don't go to school, and whenever I'm out, I bring this. I bring the pouch when I'm gone for like the whole day. Otherwise, in some of my purses, I just keep like a thing or two, and then I have a bigger stock. It's like literally this big in the car. Right? I have an Advil. I have a lip balm and a hand cream. I don't leave the house without those three things. And sometimes like a period product, depending. Anyway, I carry a version of this. Conceptually, this is totally fine. Execution, however, not the biggest fan. Let me tell you why. You don't need new stuff because it's a brand new year. You don't need a new pouch. You don't need to go and buy all brand new supplies because it's a new school year. I appreciate that the mom did this, and I appreciate that she catered this to each of her children, like putting different scents in them. Great, fine, lovely. You don't need brand new things because it's a new school year. You go and you look at your pouch. What do you already have in it? What needs to be re-upped? Because some things probably do need to be replenished. Maybe you need more tampons. Maybe you need more hand sanitizer. That's something that you use. But also, like, these pouches are huge. They are so big. Kids, teenagers, even college age, you bring so much stuff with you to school. Or maybe that was just me. Maybe I was the crazy person and filled my bag with books. But like, kids have things that they bring to and from school, their lunches, their laptops, their binders, their notebooks, their pencil case. This is just a colossal pouch that just feels overly big and unnecessarily big. If all of her kids use this stuff, kudos to her. But the caption of this says, new school year means new self-care pouches. Buying new things because it's a brand new year, unnecessary. This is also an Amazon finds video, so she can link and sell you things from Amazon. Not all of this needs to be single use, right? Do you have stuff from last year? Let's start there. With the like flosser devices, we don't need to buy new flossers with new case every time. You can refill them with other floss picks if that's what you want to use. You can look at this and say, oh, it's just a pouch. It's not a big deal. But these things can cost $30 to $100 to put together for one, depending on what you're buying. I have seen these cost $100. Typically not that much though. And what this is more representative of is not so much the cost, but of every moment, every piece of our lives being monetized for sale and a reason to go buy new things. Let's now end on a back to school restock essential. Keep in mind, this is called essentials. Very few of those things, in my opinion, are actually essentials. And some of them are. But this is the purse restock station rebranded for back to school. I made an entire video on these if you want to see my full thoughts on them and alternatives, because I am not anti-purse station or get stuff together for your purse. There's other ways to do this that aren't filling all of these containers because I'm an Amazon affiliate and trying to put more stuff in front of you so I make more money. You don't need the tie. You don't need the device that cuts elastics. That's also kind of wasteful. Every time you take an elastic off your hair to just cut it, cool device in some cases. Maybe it's a mobility aid. I don't know. That's not how it's being pitched. You don't need a disposable poncho because umbrellas exist. Umbrellas exist as well as rain jackets. You don't need more chargers. What is the charger doing in there anyway? It's not even a full charger. It's a cord. You are going to need the outlet or the the plug that plugs into the wall. Where's that? That's not there. So what purpose does that serve? You would have to carry a plug in your bag. You don't need $10 Touchland hand sanitizers that you have different scents that you want to rotate through. You want to do a version like this, you probably don't need a 16 compartment restock station. You know, like you can do a version of this yourself, but you probably don't need all of these products. Think about what you actually use, what your kids use, and what the most practical way is to get that into your hands, make it accessible and usable. We don't need to buy new lip balms for this stand. We don't need to buy new fragrances for this. Sometimes Sephora just throws in perfume minis, or if you have a perfume mini, you can put one in your bag. That's cool. Like the first lady did. I like that about her video. You can put a little mini in there. We don't need to go and buy new perfume to put in this thing. That like, are we then gonna take the perfume into our bag? I don't know. We don't need to buy perfume. Also, not an essential. A lot of these videos love to call non-essential things essentials, so you feel better about buying them. I've gone on that rant many a time. We are, I think, vastly over time today. If you want to buy new things for back to school, all I'm saying, use what you have first. I gave you other tips too, but I think that's a good place to end on. That's everything for me today. Thank you so much for watching and being here, and I hope to see you again around here soon for a new video. Bye.